I am going to redo this bathroom. I'm going to redo the floor tiles, sticky back tiles, and we're going to replace the toilet. We recently have painted the walls, and the floorboards are still off, so that's kind of a big help. As long as that's off, we're going to just replace the toilet. It's been around for a long time. Been wanting to do that for a while. And the tile, it's good, but it has been raising up. The corners aren't sticking like they used to, and the caulk's kind of wearing down, breaking down around the toilet and along the shower there. So we're gonna do that. So we gotta pop these boards off, and the ones that are around the door have to come off. Should go pretty smooth, but we'll see how it goes. You can see underneath the square tiles that I'm pulling off there that there's a white linoleum. That's the original floor, and I left it on there underneath the brown tiles, and I'm going to leave it under this one too. It leaves a nice water barrier, and I didn't want to take it all the way down to the subfloor, so I'm just going to leave that in place. Yeah, some of these tiles come off real easy, and obviously places you've walked and things, they're really stuck down hard, so a lot of elbow grease pulling them up, but they for the most part come up, at least mine, in one piece. Some are breaking, but most of them come up pretty good. Now I'm going to drain the toilet out and start loosening the bolts and get ready to get that out of here so I can get the remaining tile out. You can see where dirt has fallen between the tiles too, and the floor is super sticky, so I really need to clean that off first and get a good clean surface for when I'm putting this on, so I don't step on it and then get this sticky on the new tiles. Then I'll have to scrape the old caulk off the bathtub, and there's a spot over here where the water from the tub is kind of corroded that. I'll have to maybe get some caulk that in good, give it a good seal. I use the Gooby Gone. I did a section at a time and sprayed it on, let it sit for 3-4 minutes at a time, scraped it off with a putty knife. I repeated that. I did it 2 times, and it seemed to really take the dirt and junk off, and the glue for the most part came off. Some of it's still kind of sticky, but if it's sticky, that's okay. And then after the Gooby Gone, I went through with soap and water and a sponge and try to get the Gooby Gone off, and that came off pretty good. You just don't want it slimy so the tiles will stick, but if it's kind of sticky from before, that's okay, but you just don't want the slime or the goo still left on. So now we're gonna see which way we want these new tiles to run and start putting them down. We are gonna go with the Traffic Master self-stick vinyl tiles. They come 15 in a box, and they come in a rectangle shape. And I think we're gonna try to go diagonal with them. After much debate, we've decided to go the short way on these keeping them straight all the way across. I think that's going to look the best. So we are going to get started. When I'm laying the tiles on the floor, I'm starting on the left. I started in the left-hand corner with a full sheet, went across, and then when I started again, I staggered it 7 inches over, so the seam, it moves all the time. Rather than having the seams line up, you don't want that. You want it to be staggered. So I just picked 7 inches. It seemed kind of random. So I did a full sheet, then I went 7 over, and then 7 after that in the third layer. And that way it's hard to distinguish where your tiles are, and it just gives it a better overall look. So that's what I'm doing here. So I got roughly half the floor done now. I got the worst part out of the way. I cut out the register, one around the toilet, little notch in the corner, and around the vanity. I'm going to run some caulk along here to seal up that gap. Not real crazy about that in case we did get some water. Seal it up underneath where the floorboards are going to go, and then we can get the toilet in place. Here's the silicone caulk I used. I went along the cabinet here a little bit. I had a little bit of a gap there. I wanted to fill that in just on the floor, not on the side. And then I filled in the gap along the back here up to the tub. And then I actually, the piece that I had cut out to slide in where that pipe was at, I slid it back in and filled in that gap. Hey, just got the floor done. Feeling good. Like the way it turned out. There's a few, got the toilet put in place too. That was pretty straightforward. Once we get the wax ring down, lined up the bolts, came right in, tightened them up. Got a new water line in the back, flexi hose. This toilet's a little bit taller, so we had to get a little bit different hookup. There's a few spots that need a little bit of touch up. Maybe put some putty in there. And I got to put the baseboards up here. Put the register back. This was pretty tedious when I got to the end here. I had to cut a lot of smaller pieces and slid them underneath the door jamb. And now I will put the door on, and then tomorrow I'll put the baseboards on and clean up this mess. We'll be all set. Here's the crack filler that I used down here by the water hose, water line. And it's not a perfect match, but the colors are limited to what you can get. So everything's done. Turned out really good. Really glad we went with the short direction. I don't know what the diagonal would have looked like. I'm sure that would have been okay too, but this is a lot less work doing it this way. Turned out good, no complaints.